long time, the pressure to do my art well kept me from doing it at all. Hi, I'm Sadie, and this is Sadie Robinson Studio, a space where I'm learning to create without perfection and documenting what happens. In this video, I'm sharing my creative goals for 2026, not as outcomes, but as containers that help me actually show up. They're not about productivity or pressure, they're about creating simple structures that support consistency, exploration, and staying focused on the process, even when motivation and confidence isn't there. Before I get into the goals themselves, I want to talk about why I'm setting goals at all, because this is something that I've struggled with for a long time. In the past, I've often waited to feel ready before committing to anything creatively. I had ideas and good intentions, but not much follow through. A lot of that came from fear of failure, pressure I put on myself, worrying that I'd waste materials if things didn't turn out the way that I imagined. I spent more time thinking about what I should make than actually making anything. So these goals aren't productivity goals. They're not about output, pressure, or proving anything. What I've realized is that I don't need goals that add more decisions. I need goals that remove the decision making. So instead of constantly asking, what should I make? What should I work on today? These goals are meant to help me simply show up, start, and let the process unfold. They're about getting mileage, working without needing things to turn out a certain way, and giving myself permission to experiment, learn, and explore without expecting a refined outcome. At the core of all of this is a simple creative philosophy, one I'm actively practicing and not something that I've mastered by any means. I'm choosing process over results. I'm choosing to show up before I feel confident and let the skill catch up later. Because for me, creating has to come first. If I wait until I feel certain or good enough, I don't end up making anything at all. I know myself well enough to know that waiting for motivation or clarity doesn't work for me. These goals are a way of meeting myself where I actually am. They intentionally are a little uncomfortable. They're designed to force creation before certainty, as I've mentioned, not because I lack discipline, but because I struggle with perfectionism. I'm also not trying to define my style right now. I don't think clarity comes from thinking harder. I think it comes from volume, creating lots of things and seeing what I'm drawn to. The goal isn't to get it right, it's to keep going long enough for something to really take shape. So I'm only setting a few goals, 3 or 4 at most, because I want them to be clear, supportive, and easy to return to. Everything else can live quietly in the background this year. These are my anchors. So the first goal is daily practice. For the first 75 days of the year, I'm committing to 30 minutes of creating anything each day. I have a studio at my home. I'm very lucky to have that, so it's nice that I can just go out and whatever's out, or I can pull out new supplies, whatever, and I can spend time doing something, whatever I feel like at the time. I might extend it beyond the 75 days, but for now, that's sort of the container that I'm putting out for myself. This goal matters because it helps me build trust with myself. Showing up consistently, even for a short amount of time, makes starting easier and reinforces the idea that creating is just something that I do. What this goal really removes is waiting for motivation or overthinking whether it's worth it to start or whether I've figured it out enough to take the first step. So, big picture, this goal removes the question of if I'll create, and it just answers when. Within that daily practice, I want flexibility. Some days I'll have more energy and work on originals or follow a course. That's what you see behind me here is I got about halfway through an Opus member course and I couldn't keep up. So anyway, that's what I have to work on next time. And then other days I'll choose low energy options like gessoing surfaces, playing with materials, or just experimenting with materials or colors to see what I even like. So the point is that showing up counts, no matter what that looks like. The second goal is filling a sketchbook completely. I'm working in an 8x10 Stillman and Byrne mixed media sketchbook with nice thick paper. I've already started about 13 pages. Many I'll show in some pictures here. Many of them are just little doodles here, playing with some color there. They're not finished pages. There's lots of white space. I plan to revisit those pages and add whatever feels right, color, texture, a quote, or marks that might make them more interesting, and just play in there. But I want that sketchbook to be jam-packed full, not a lot of like extra white space. So I might even go over some of the things that I've already done. This matters to me because a sketchbook is a super low stakes private space. It's where I'm allowed to be messy, exploratory, and unfinished. I can go back later, I can add layers, I can do what I need to do, and just be and reflect as I go. So it removes the pressure of making good work and the fear of wasting materials. A sketchbook is where I'm allowed to practice being imperfect, and nothing in here has to be shared, nothing has to lead anywhere. The value is in doing. If it gets done, I'd love to share that with you guys, and I'm okay with sharing my imperfect stuff, but I know in the moment, in the past for me, it has felt important, or it weighs on me that it didn't go the way I wanted, right? The third goal is to learn from other artists. I'll be working through the Ali K Paint More Challenge, a small selection of courses by Ronée and Suzanne Allard, and some free online lessons through Opus Art Supplies, like what I talked about here. I'll throw a link below if you want to explore those as well, or join me on any future ones. It means that I don't have to think so hard because I'm able to just focus on the doing of it and not in the thinking it through. What this removes is the belief that originality has to come first. These aren't homework assignments, they're invitations. It also helps me discover what I actually enjoy. Materials, styles, color combinations, and subjects, so I can eventually decide how I want to develop my own style. Basically, I'm measuring the process and not the product. If it feels easier to sit down, if I'm less afraid of wasting supplies, if I create without negotiating with myself first, and if I'm creating more freely, it's working. This is an experiment. I'm learning as I go, and I don't have all the answers. That's sort of the whole point. If you've ever noticed where you get stuck, whether it's overthinking, waiting for the right moment, or feeling like it has to be perfect, I want to invite you in. You don't have to wait. You can start imperfectly and figure it out as you go. Over the year, I'll be sharing a monthly reflection in a video where I can look back at what worked, what didn't, and how I'm changing as a creator. If this resonates, I'd love to know that you're here. Thanks for being here. I'm really glad that you are.